What's up, Gary?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Off and Turn 1. We didn't get canceled. How about it? We
Not
survived the
yet.
first week.
Not
AJ
yet.
let us, yeah. AJ let us come back. Of course, my name's Gary, alongside Joe Hutchings here. Uh, we didn't get canceled, so let's dive right into things. We've got a lot of news to cover between IndyCar, NASCAR. Very busy news day even today as we're recording on this 29th of February on Leap Day 2024. Starts back to last week. IndyCar, well, open wheel racing lost a driver this past week at the age of 80 years old. Wilson Fittipaldi passed away back on the 23rd of February at the age of 80. The father of Christian Fittipaldi and the brother of Emerson Fittipaldi. And of course, we don't talk about him
Yeah, we,
because
we don't talk about Mr. Orange Juice.
we don't
But
like orange juice
but
around here.
but Christian, sorry for your loss.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Joe, we're one weekend away from St. Petersburg. I know you've been super excited for that. And I believe you've got some new news for us, some restart rules and things for later on down the line in the season. So let's go ahead and talk about that.
IndyCar, stop shooting yourself in the. That's all I gotta say. So it was reported a few days ago by Marshall Pruitt that they are doing some start rules. Um, According to the article, um, they're not gonna have restart zones like NASCAR, but the I guess I'm going to quote him directly. It says it's intended to keep the field in one row as they mash the throttle and get back to racing, and no passing is allowed until a driver has crossed that line. I mean,
Which line are they talking about? They talking about the start finish line or the white line they're going to paint for the zone?
it's forgot. I read the article a couple days ago and I brain farted.
Well,
Sorry, it's been a long
they
week
they
already.
said no, you're good. It says starting here at the opening round in St. Petersburg, IndyCar will paint a restart line at the exit of the last turn that holds that and use that line to hold its field in check during restarts. So I guess until that line is when they can't pass, right? And after they cross that line, I guess they can pass. I guess.
It, okay, so here was my initial thought when I read the article. Why not just use a start finish line? If you guys are going to be that petty, use a start finish line.
Right.
But I get it. Okay, I get it. Establish a restart line. All right, you don't necessarily have to start there because we know with IndyCar they kind of they play fuck games with. Yes, we were past the 30-second mark. And past
Not
the
so
three
much for
minute.
the other one.
No, we're past the 3 minute mark for the other. We're good, trust me.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So, um, no, it's a good thing to have to alleviate a lot of the issues that are associated with restarting, especially in
Yeah, because
IndyCar.
I guess
Because
they said Laguna Seca was a disaster last year on restarts toward the end of the
well,
race. So
think about Laguna Seca. Okay, that is probably one of the tightest corners that those cars are ever gonna be on in the entire season, and you got a
it
bunch
wasn't
of young
Nashville bad,
drivers.
but it was right up
Yeah,
there.
try it out, IndyCar. You guys are
What do
you
you have to
guys try.
lose?
You guys did double file restarts, all right, on ovals for God's sakes, and we all know where that went. So okay, cool. Fine. You guys want to sit here and try to be a little bit more mindful of trying to save the equipment and keeping drivers safe. Okay, but don't do it that way. I St. Pete turn St.
We're
Pete
we're
right
going to be talking
before the.
about off and turn one, literally.
It ain't gonna be an off in turn one. They're gonna be an off and negative turn one. We haven't even started the fucking race and we're already wrecking. But it's
Yeah,
not like I
yeah.
have experience running Indy cars on a set of course or anything.
No, not at
Guys,
all.
not at
Never.
all. Yeah, part of Lee said, "Oh, we're gonna try this. Oh, we're a bunch of dumbasses." I know this because
Yeah.
I was said dumbass, but
Yeah.
no, I
What do they
I
have
see
to
it as
lose?
I see it as a safety issue thing, and I see where they're going with it. Fine.
Whether it works or not, we'll just find out next week.
Exactly.
So, well, after that, they've also released some news on new suspension components for all ovals. But of course, we're not going to see it until the open test in April. And then, of course, the first real race is the Indianapolis 500. So, no pressure. But the reason why they released those new suspension components, we saw what happened to Kyle Kirkwood's tire last year at Indianapolis. It went flying over the fence in turn two. So again, another safety component they figured out with this car to keep not only the driver safe but the fans.
It it's a redesigned spindle, and I get it. Yeah, that was a freak accident that they knew that they were going to have to research, and they did. They re-engineered it and made it so it doesn't um so it doesn't allow the spindle to crack and send the wheel flying, because that could have been really bad. Like when you were at the track, I was watching on TV. I had a couple of the guys from our race team watching it with me, and every one of us was like, "Oh my god, people are dead. We just literally watched people die." And then to realize that it took out a Chevy Cruze that belonged to a very, very nice person that worked at the speedway. All is good. We're okay. Right? Could have ended much worse. There could have been an overreaction to it. There wasn't. IndyCar did the right thing. Great. Let's hope it works.
Yep, absolutely. And with those cars going 230 miles an hour, you're kind of limited to what you can do, really,
Hmm.
um, as far as that goes. Well, we are 86 days away from the Indianapolis 500, Joe. Just wanted to give a countdown for us. Um, let's go ahead and talk about some random Indianapolis 500 facts. So this is the 1920 Indianapolis 500.
I hate you.
20, 23 car. You're not that old, so you ain't going to figure this out. That's why I had to pick one from like way beyond of the beyond. 23 cars started in that race. And one of the original names of the Indianapolis 500, you were mostly right. But according to Wikipedia, I know not the strongest source. I probably could have gone to the museum and checked the archives. But it was the International 500 Mile Sweepstakes Race.
Hmm?
That's what it was called. And the race was run on May 31st. I don't know what day of the week that was. I didn't look too far into it. But folks, back in the day, they ran it on actual Memorial Day. May 31st back in 1920 could have been on like a Tuesday.
Can I actually? I'm gonna chime in on this one. Believe it or
Let's hear
not,
it.
it's a Monday.
It was a Monday. Hey, how about it? So there you go. But it was held on whatever Memorial Day was that year. It could have been Monday. It could have
Yeah.
been
The
Saturday. Whatever.
the way the United States worked back in the day was they designated Memorial Day as a specific day, and it just rotated on the calendar just like any other day. So the actual race, they didn't care if it happened on the weekend or that it happened midweek. They just raced it on actual proper Memorial Day. When the United States changed when Memorial Day was going to be recognized on, instead of it being on a specific day, it ended up moving to a specific weekend of May. That's when
This
the day
weekend.
started changing, and you got racing consistently on Sunday, sometimes Monday, and we all know the infamous
Sometimes
97
Tuesday.
race where it was on Tuesday. Actually, it
Yeah.
took 3 days to run that 500 miles because Mother Nature said, "Get fucked, you motherfucking hose."
72 hours of Indy. Let's just we'll call it that.
Let's
But
not talk about that.
but that was a crazy race nonetheless. It was on May 31st, 1920 that year. Who won the race? Gaston Chevrolet or Gaston, I don't know.
It's gas.
But
Who cares?
Gaston.
some
Chevrolet won the race.
some
And
some
I'm not talking just about the car manufacturer either, folks.
some Chevrolet dude.
But he started sixth and led 14 laps that day. This was one of the last years that they had um, those mandatory mechanics riding around with them around the racetrack at that time. The average race speed, you ready for this?
Hmm.
88.6 miles an hour.
Slower than snot. I mean, what?
That's highway speed today, folks. 88 miles an hour. The
I could do that.
qualifying record, the average 4 lap time, because I did run 4 laps for qualifying back then, the pole sitter was Ralph De Palma. He had a 4 lap average of 99.5 miles an hour.
Hmm.
So there you go.
That's,
I don't know how long that race took, but if it was, it's 500 miles like it was back then, I would take them 6 hours to finish that race. 6 hours of Indy.
That's that's a commute to work.
So
hang on. So you're the average speed. Go ahead. Okay, so the average speed 88.6. You said, right?
Yeah, 88.615.
Yeah, we'll just call it 6 hours.
Was it like 5 and like 45 minutes or something?
You know what? I don't have a calculator in front of me, and my math doesn't function after 9 o'clock at night.
So we'll just call it 6 hours.
Right.
It was a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have an IndyCar roasting, and as we mentioned last week, we like to talk a lot of crap about Andretti. So, Joe, let's show them image number 4. It is the 2024 paint schemes for Andretti Global. Can't call them Andretti Autosport anymore. I almost called them Andretti Autosport. Can't call them by the real name.
Hold on. So I'm going to take the image down because I'm going to show our audience on how badly I'm fucking laughing at these cars. They're terrible. Don't get me wrong.
At first glance, they looked okay. But the more you look at them, it's like literally the same paint for all 3 cars.
This is literally some iRacing bullshit right here, okay? Like something that I would do.
They took the iRacing template or Joe's template and then just put it on every car.
We're going to take a template and we're going to make these beautiful looking schemes, but then we're going to go and put all the basic colors back on the cars. Michael, get your head out of your ass and get some of those nice pretty schemes back together again, bud. Please. I am taking this off my screen because it's burning my pixels. It's so bad.
I mean, it works good with the AutoNation car and the Gamebridge car. It works good with those. The Delaware Life one, I don't know about that, bud. Doesn't look good. Sorry. Not great.
Hey, next week we'll roast Ganassis.
Yeah, we saw Pelot's car. I call it the ketchup mustard car because I don't think you can make DHL look good on anything. That's just my personal opinion, but
I mean, shit, I made Drinking Bros look good on this side of a Target.
It almost looked like Junior's Exalta car in his last year in NASCAR, the red and yellow car. I called that the ketchup mustard car too. Back in 2016 or 17, whenever his last year was.
Mm-hmm.
But we digress. So moving on to the question of the week.
No.
Here we are. No?
Go.
No, go? Okay. All right. We're going to go. Moving on to the question of the week after we just got done roasting Andretti. Always a fun time here on the podcast. Which driver in motorsports will have a comeback year in 2024?
Yeah. As soon as I saw the question, my answer, Scott Dixon. Why? Because he's old.
Well, I think if they just go back to the strategy that they would do in the last 20 years, they're going to go back to kicking butt and win a lot of races.
Do you want me to piss off a bunch of people really quick?
What's that? How?
Get rid of the fucking women running fucking Scott's team and maybe he'd win. And again.
Woo! You heard that, Chip. Get it fixed. Anyways, I can't hate on women in racing. I mean, hey, if they want to partake, they can partake. You know, whatever.
That's fine. Okay, so if people don't know, all right, let me explain. All right, Ganassi and Dixon have kind of partnered with the whole women in motorsports thing, and there are a lot of really, really smart women working for Ganassi and throughout the IndyCar paddock. In fact, a lot through the WEC also and IMSA. They're giving them a chance, which I am all for it. All right, there are some badass women out there in motorsports.
And you have a
All
daughter
right,
too who might want to be in motorsports one of these days. Who knows?
not discuss that. It's gonna cost money. Money we don't have. Broke. See? Broke.
See?
Empty. Hold on, where's my wallet?
Empty.
Empty. No, they do a good job with it. They have won races. I shut on them a lot because, I'm just an asshole, and, the winning ways of a gentleman who is pretty much in the swan
Twilight.
song of his career. It's,
Mhm.
you do what you can to make things better, right? And
Yeah.
you know what? I praise those. I praise the women of IndyCar series, but I just brutally fucking honest. If they want to win something again, they need to pick better people. That's
Oh,
all.
yeah. That's fair. Well, so yeah, we've got that. You picked Scott Dixon. My pick was Chase Elliott. Based off of the broken leg last year, he was doing pretty good. He had, consistent speed, even when he came back, but didn't quite have the edge to get back into victory lane. So he went winless last year, but um, definitely something to watch on. I know some other people have said like Bowman. Bowman was a good one. He was leading the points when he got hurt last year, but you know, it was between Chase and Alex Bowman for me. We do have a couple of answers from the Facebook page. They gave us a couple answers. You could the question of the week will be posted every week, so be on the lookout for that
Look
on
for it,
the All Star 15 TV Facebook page.
and
It'll
also
be there.
and also Drinking Bros. We'll
And
put up
Drinking
on the
Bros,
Drinking Bros
yes.
Auto Racing page.
Yes. I didn't see the answers from the Drinking Bros portion, but I did find a couple of answers from the All Star 15 TV page. Ian Slager said Alexander Rossi, he's due for it. Kind of wanted to put it on here so you can roast Alexander Rossi. Here's your opportunity, Joe.
Wait, hold on. I like Rossi though.
Oh, you
Jesus
do?
races.
Okay.
Rossi went to the wrong team. He should have gone to Ganassi. He went to McLaren. I'm sorry, Zach Brown. You suck in Indy cars.
But we'll see with Rossi. I mean, he might win a race, he might not. We'll just have to see. I just don't think outside of Indianapolis, they really were pretty
we,
mid last year.
we have some more from the.
You have some answers? All right. I
Yeah.
got another one here from AJ Capola. He said, I can't see why it wouldn't be Chase Elliott. So AJ and I are on the same wavelength there. But what do you got there, sir, from the glorious people over at Drinking Bros?
Well, actually, it's posted on Drinking Bros, but it comes from HSR's very own Oval Team leader, Mike Campigio. Get better. Hope the drugs work great.
Yeah.
He said Chase Elliott also. Uh-oh. Hey, Gary, guess what? We
What?
have a visitor.
Who's your visitor?
Come here, Veda. I'm going to turn the camera that way. Gary's waving at you. You are live right now on our podcast.
And you're not getting cut out either. Hi, Veda.
Wave hi to everybody.
Say hi to the people. See, you ain't got to be shy.
Yeah, you'll get in this eventually. We were just
Oh, yeah.
trashing on women that race for Scott. Or race with Scott.
She's got no comment on that one.
All right. Everybody say goodnight to Veda.
Good night, Veda.
It's scary.
Good night.
It's going live later. You're
Yeah, it'll
interrupting
go
my
live later.
podcast now. She said goodnight, Gary. Daddy?
Slash Gary.
Okay, fine. Be that way.
I said slash Gary.
Good night, bug. All-Star
it'll
TV
be on
15.
YouTube.
Right here. See? All-Star 15 TV.
That's where it'll be. Tomorrow. Well, maybe tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh,
So,
hey,
did we have any
good
other
thing, Andy.
takers other than Capigio on that answer to that question?
Go ahead. That was it for now, but if anybody else wants to sit there and comment, just comment it below.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
That's
what we have the comments there for.
Start some arguments, because I know there's a lot of people out there that like to stir
That love
the shit
Andretti.
pot.
Hi.
Joseph Newgarden. He doesn't have to come back. He's already fucking great.
From anything. Oh man. Well, we did have a very busy weekend at Atlanta.
Good Lord, was Atlanta freaking great. I don't care what anybody says. And you know me, I like to trash the new way Atlanta is configured, but god dang, they did something right.
It was a finish of the ages for the Cup race, that is for sure. Really, even the truck race too. I was surprised there weren't more crashes in the truck race. But, they didn't have as many crashes this week. So, but to recap it a little bit, it was an all, what's the name of that team? McAnally Hilgeman Racing front row. Daniel Dye started on the pole, and you had Tyler Ankrum start on the outside pole. All stage one, it was that McAnally team. Christian Eckes won the stage.
I can hear.
Holden.
Anal. McAnally.
Oh no. Hey, that's how it was spelled. That's how hey,
Hey, I don't care. I'm making fun of everybody.
You're making fun of everybody's name. Hey, that's okay.
I don't care.
So Ankrum won the pole.
You can change your name legally.
No, I'm sorry. Dye won the pole. Ankrum started on the outside pole. Stage one was Christian Eckes, dominated by him. Won stage one pretty easily. Had a brake failure somehow in between the finish of stage one and the start of stage two, and relegated him basically to last after that. Kyle Busch won stage two and won the race, his 7th win in Atlanta. The first one, obviously, on this new configuration. So props to Kyle Busch. And I believe that was like his 63rd win or something like that in the truck series. So he's got them trucks figured out.
Don't stop winning. That was per Gavin. Probably.
Yeah, probably. So the Xfinity race.
It's been a long day. Sorry, Gary.
No, all good. So the Xfinity race, we had pre-race picks. Your pick ended up winning the race. You picked Austin Hill. I picked AJ Allmendinger. Didn't work out for the Dinger. I think he ran out of gas there at the end of the race, but
I went. So, story behind this: I was driving home from Panama City while I was trying to listen to this race, and I asked Gary. I said, "So where's Austin Hill?" He's like, "Lurking," and I was like, "Okay." And then they're sitting there talking about love and all the fuel strategy, and how he was sitting there doing the draft stuff. We're gonna get to that, but just for the sake of the story, but. I'm just thinking in the back of my head going, and you motherfuckers don't stand a chance. Fucking Austin Hill's right there. And this is he wrecked early in the race, didn't he?
Yeah, he did have some damage from an early wreck, but it wasn't anything too major, but kept the car mostly clean and brought it home to a win. So
yeah.
Hey, timeout. I need to take a break. Sorry.
Hold on, people. We're going to pause here for a moment. Watch this.
6.5 hours later.
6th Atlanta win for RCR, the most amongst the active teams. And Austin Hill is the winner of 3 out of the last 4 races on the new configuration in Atlanta. So
That's why I had to pick him.
half of RCR's wins that come here in the last couple of years, y'all, since the reconfiguration. So they really know how to get it done there. And it honestly was a good pick. I was thinking about picking them. I was like, just something tells me it's got to be an RCR related car because colleague has been getting engines and tech support from RCR the last few years. So it made sense to me. But the top 10 of this race, because it came down to fuel mileage, though, Joe, was interesting. Austin Hill, obviously your winner. Chandler Smith finished second. Didn't really talk about Chandler Smith much at all that day. He was kind of lurking around 10th to 12th. Didn't really talk about him much. Shane Van Gisbergen, the New Zealander. He's from New Zealand, right? Hope I gave the right country out.
He's from that area.
Okay. Anyway, he finished third. Yeah, right. He finished third for colleague Trackhouse there in that 97 car. Good run for them. Speaking of Sheldon Creed, he finished fourth. Fifth place was Parker Retzlaff. That is really impressive because that's Jordan Anderson's team, and they ran 3 cars again last week. So Jordan Anderson building themselves a pretty impressive empire with the low budget they have. So they've been doing a really good job over there. So shout out to Parker finishing 5th. 6th, Jeremy Clements. Again, another shoestring operation family team for Jeremy. Finishing 6th. Anthony Alfredo 7th. Jeffrey Earnhardt comes home in 8th.
Hey,
Tyler Truex 9th.
Skip over Mr. iRacing himself, Fast Pasta.
Fast Pasta finished 7th for Our Motorsports, sponsored by Dude Wipes. You think that man would be sponsored by?
Got him!
You think he would have been sponsored by iRacing, but no, he's sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Hey, man.
Dude Wipes.
Never mind. Not making a joke.
This is not the time to evacuate the building, okay?
He has to clean himself up from the pasta, okay?
Or from, other. Never mind.
You said it.
Jeffrey Earnhardt finishes 8th. Tyler Truex 9th, and then Sammy Smith for Jr. Rounds out your top 10. Jesse Love ended up finishing 12th after the fuel mileage issues, and that race was just pretty crazy overall with the fuel mileage and stuff coming down right to the end there.
If we don't talk about it, Ramler is going to be pissed at us.
Let's talk about it. What we got to talk
Jesse Love was doing things in the draft to stay out front that we haven't seen since the likes of Dale Earnhardt. And if you don't recognize that Jesse Love is a generational talent that is going to make it deep into NASCAR and win some championships, y'all need to stop sleeping on this little guy and start watching him because he's going to be around.
Jesse Love?
Show the man some love.
But no, he has been fast and really impressive the first 2 weeks out. I mean, I know those RCR cars are good, and you could say anybody could drive those at Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta, but Atlanta ain't exactly Daytona or Talladega either. So what he's been able to do on the plate side of things, we know that he's going to be really competitive. And that's why I'm anxious to see, how he's going to perform throughout the year when we hit some of these intermediate tracks and these shorter tracks and these road courses coming up and the street course in Chicago. But that's further on down the line.
I mean, what?
You love Illinois.
No.
This would have been an ample opportune time for you to break out this button. You didn't do it.
No, Gary.
But you didn't do it, so gotta use that every once in a while. Anyways, well, let's move on to the Cup race here. Same front row as last week at Daytona, but flipped roles a little bit. Michael McDowell gets his first pole in his 467th start. Oh, and by the way, he is Mr. Front Row. This past weekend in Atlanta, when he started that race on Sunday, took the most starts in Front Row Motorsports history. And if you don't know anything about Front Row, they have a long history of being mediocre. They went through so many drivers. John Andretti drove for them, Tony Raines, Travis Quapple, Kevin LePage. I mean, Stanton Barrett. They had just a long list of drivers that have driven for that operation. So to see them get some stability there with McDowell over the last few years has been pretty cool to see. I think it was like it's 216 start, and David Reagan has about the same amount. So good to see. Good to see those guys get a little bit of loving. But it was the longest streak that was broken. Okay. JD McDuffie got his first pole on his 403rd career start. We didn't think that record would be broken, but here we are. Michael McDowell broke that streak on his 467th start on Sunday, started on the pole for the first time in a cup race. And Joey Logano started outside pole.
You know what I have to say to that?
What do you have to say about that?
Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut.
It took him a long while. Long while there.
You know what happens though when nuts are found though. If in Florida, cops start firing on them.
Yep, they sure do. They sure do. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. But yeah, so the first time, the last time this happened, were the same two drivers started on the front row in a race in the same season, like back-to-back weeks. 1981. Michael Waltrip mentioned that during the grid walk, but didn't say who the drivers were. So, and I tried looking for it on Racing Reference. I couldn't find it. So there you go. But that was an interesting stat. Of course, Front Row Motorsports dominated the day. Michael McDowell winning stage one. Todd Gilliland leading the most laps. First time in their history that they've led the most laps in a race by far, at least in the Cup Series. Austin Cindric, we're going to skip over that one, stage two, but we need to talk about it. End of this race, 48 lead changes at Atlanta. That's a track record. Third closest finish in NASCAR history, at least for the Cup Series. And Daniel Suarez winning the race. I know people have been talking shit about Atlanta, saying how the racing's not good. Peyton Sweet, I'm looking at you. Wait, Peyton Sweet, I'm looking at you. But But I know there was a lot of crashes on Sunday, and the cars were off literally in turn one on lap 2. I get it. And things happen. That's just racing sometimes. But that last run of that race, last 40, 50 laps, that was really, really impressive to me. They put on a hell of a show.
So,
and the moves that Kyle Busch and Suarez made on that final lap to make it 3 wide, very, very impressive to me.
So in regards to this, did you listen to Dale Jr.'s download this week about Atlanta?
I did a little bit, but I wasn't able to catch the whole thing in his regards to his comments about the race.
Well, this is what it was. He told the story about how Marcus wanted to change things up at Atlanta. He wanted to make it more entertaining.
Oh yes, I did listen to that part. Yeah.
He wanted to make it unique, and they went to iRacing to try different configurations with the newer car to see what's gonna work.
Yes.
But they didn't expect. Well, they wanted pack racing. That's what they got. What they didn't expect was having a thinner track and still able to hold 4 wide with the package that they were running.
Yeah.
I'm not the first words out of my mouth when I saw them 4 wide were, holy shit, they're actually holding it together. Now,
they held together for about 2 laps.
Junior went on to say about how, yes, as we get more wear on the track and the track starts to slick up a little bit, racing's gonna, we're not gonna have what we have. But if you think about it, if they continue running that package and the track starts to slick up, where they're gonna have to start fighting for grip and actually having to slow down in the corners, not gonna lie, makes them for the first year that it happens is gonna be a total wreck fest, and everybody's gonna be pissed off about it. And as
Right.
long as NASCAR doesn't react to it, to what the fans have to say, and just kind of say, you have to give it a chance, all right?
Right.
It's going to be really, really cool to see.
Well,
There
and
are guys
Atlanta has
on.
always put on, since they reconfigured it back in '97, have always had great finishes. I mean, you think about Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon in the later years. I
I'm not.
mean,
I'm not
that
gonna
one
give
definitely
out
tops
the.
it all, what we saw on Sunday.
I'm not gonna give out the group that's working on it, but there were guys that have tried to simulate what's gonna happen with pavement wear at the new configuration of Atlanta, and for the video that I saw, yeah, the next couple of years at Atlanta are going to be really exciting. Now, what Marcus could do is let it roll for a couple of years, and when it starts turning to shit, you go and say, okay, well, I'm not changing my banking, but I am going to go out here. I'm going to cut the 2 inches off the top of the asphalt, and I'm going to put down fresh pavement, and we're going to give it a year, let it start slicking up again, and then just have a constant rotation of, all right, we know what years we're going to have to bank on, you know having the best races. Also, too, I don't think anybody. One of the biggest complaints that I hear from NASCAR drivers at this, or not NASCAR drivers, but NASCAR fans at this time, is they're tired of seeing cookie cutter races where it's predictable. So why
Right.
not have an Atlanta where the sand is eating away at the freaking pavement and changing the surface? Pretty much. What they're racing two this year at Atlanta, right? That surface is going to be
Season
different. You're not.
3, this is the
Yeah,
third
you're.
season they've had on it.
Yeah, you're not going to see the same race that you saw here in the spring and the fall. It's going
No.
to be completely different. All
Because
right.
it's going to be soaking in that Georgia sun all year long until they get back there in
Mm-hmm.
September, October.
So, to all you haters, Peyton, pretty much anybody who hated that race, I have two of these for you. Okay, sit and spin. All right. That was an enjoyable race, and this is coming from the guy who absolutely despises plate racing the way it is nowadays with the new cars. Gary knows this for a
I've
fact.
got
I trash NASCAR religiously because of how plate racing has gotten. This was entertaining.
I've got one more thing to add on top of that.
Go ahead. You know what? I have this
I
to
hope we
add
don't
to
get
it.
copyrighted for that. I just realized that.
Emotional damage.
Very fitting. But no, I thought this
Soundboard
week was
sponsored by
really
me.
right. I really thought this race was entertaining. They put on a hell of a show, and we again, you're not gonna be able to duplicate. Now, I don't want to see any other SMI track try and duplicate what Atlanta's got. We don't need
No,
to see
so
more of these. Keep Atlanta the way it is. Now, what they need to do is they need to reconfigure Texas back to the way it was. And I think we'll see good racing there again.
Junior trashed him on that too, saying that they need to use iRacing and figure out a decent configuration for Texas. You know what? Fuck it. Unrestricted. Make a assload of downforce and run them upside down. Let's see it. Come on. It is 2024. We've seen stupider shit in the last 4 years. Let's see it. Race them upside down.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it too, and Dale Jr. made a good point with this because I remember you bringing this up. He did say you don't have to take the gamble of spending millions or billions of dollars even reconfiguring your racetrack anymore and hoping that it works. You can use the simulator for those tests. So something I'm sure that iRacing's even working on now with Texas on. Maybe I don't know.
When you're working with 3D models, anything PC based 3D models, to change the baking, you could do it relatively quickly. When I made a 3D model of the Milwaukee Mile back when I was in my youth, seems like it.
A long time ago.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
A
Only 1,000
long,
miles away, but
time
whatever.
ago.
doing the
Sorry.
3D models, trying to get the banking correct. It's actually quite simple if you set your drawings up right on using CAD based software. It's not hard to sit there and be like, okay, well, this configuration isn't working. Let's go and try this. All right, and with the way the iRacing engine is built, and or even Assetto Corsa. I mean, hell, we have some of our own drivers on on HSR that have made their own tracks for Assetto Corsa, and they do
Yeah.
it relatively quick. It doesn't take much to do it. So
No.
the development time to from a idea to working model is literally we're sitting in a boardroom with a steering wheel and pedal, and you guys just tell me what you want, and we're gonna try it.
Yep.
That's
Pretty
literally
much.
what they did, and you know, I'm glad that track owners and promoters and series owners are starting to recognize that the computer simulation software that is currently available, I'm not just going to say, iRacing, Assetto Corsa, or that other fucking piece of crap called R Factor 2. Um, I'm not going to, there's more out there, right?
Yeah.
That, it's all tools. It's tools in the industry. The industry's changing. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's
Unfortunately,
innovation.
the physical testing and that kind of stuff is the thing of the past, and people are using the computers to help them with that kind of stuff.
Well, we all knew it was going this way when they started designing the race cars with it back in the early '80s.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, you go from running was it very famous podcast. I will drop the name of it because I absolutely fucking love their podcast. It's Dinner with Race. John Heckman. That other guy.
When you're not listening to us, listen to them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't care. I will name drop really good podcasts. But anyways, Dinner with Racers did an absolutely great episode with the gentleman that runs Multimatic, which is the company that is responsible for a lot of race cars here in the United States. The most famous one that they have going right now is the Porsche 963. They're also the guys that were the Ford GT coming back with the Ganassi projects. If you listen to Terry Holt, he sits there and talks about the computer aided designs that that they were doing back when he was coming up, um, through the ages, and pretty sure there's a lot of people that I've turned to this podcast to listen to. You can go and talk to Bill Riley, right? That man is
Another
a
good one.
another person that is full of information on how the simulated world has pretty much revolutionized how innovation uh, comes around in the industry. The shit part is you have a lot of guys working outside the box in the gray areas that they sit there and slap their hands on it because everybody wants spec racing and everything to look pretty on paper instead of just letting them sit there and go, oh, I'm just gonna go and make I'm gonna go and make this. We're gonna make a car that can suck itself to the track, and I'm gonna have gobs of downforce while everybody else is sitting there struggling to get through a corner. We're back on that innovation is gone in motorsports. I'm hung on this. Sorry, you guys are gonna hear it every fucking episode. You
No,
can
I
play
mean, it's
you
true.
can play you can play the boomer sound if you'd like.
No, but it's true. The innovation is gone in motorsports. It really is. They've basically
But
stripped it away with the rules, but also, I mean, yes, we could sit here and design cars on a simulated computer, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to go out and test your ideas at some point in the real world. And a lot of series have taken testing away.
well, Marcus did it right. He tested his track. He got people on board with what he wanted to do, made a vision, and stuck to it. And now right now Atlanta's
He's got the
sitting
hottest
on.
track in NASCAR.
Yeah, it's Atlanta.
I mean, the
But
hottest ticket. I mean, even Junior said it last summer. Hottest ticket in NASCAR, right? So, But let's go over the top 10 finishers for the Cup race. Daniel Suarez, of course, your winner. Ryan Blaney second. Kyle Busch third. Austin Cindric there in that fourth spot.
Hold on.
Only had one top 5 last year. Has matched that total this year.
Kyle Busch got trashed by his own wife on Twitter this week, and it was a thing of beauty. Samantha Busch, you are a gem to the sport of NASCAR. Don't ever change.
Well, he basically said, I just needed a couple more inches, and Samantha said something along the lines of, I've been telling you that for 20 years.
There's another person in this house that would probably do this exact same thing, sit there and trash me publicly and then sit there and praise me privately. The exact opposite of what you're supposed to do, but I love it.
Here we are.
Anyways, continue on, sir.
Austin Cindric fourth, Bubba Wallace fifth, back-to-back top 5s for Bubba Wallace, by the way. Sixth place was Ricky Stenhouse, Ross Chastain, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, and Ty Gibbs rounds out your top 10. When I was originally writing this, I almost put Ty Dillon. Almost happened.
I'm surprised you didn't put Caillou.
Yes, Caillou is another one there that we could put. Next week, obviously this weekend, they're going to Vegas, so that'll be a fun race. Vegas is always one of my favorite mile and a halves, at least on the simulator. Over the last few years, it's put on some pretty decent racing in the real world too. So that's always interesting. With the close finish they had this week, they did talk about on social media, NASCAR did, about how they handle ties according to the rule book. So what we've got here is I've actually got the rule from NASCAR, and I'm going to read it here. If 2 or more vehicles have the same finishing position and the tie cannot be broken by any practical means reasonably available to NASCAR, such as scoring loops and videotape, the tie will be broken as follows. By awarding the higher finishing position to the vehicle that led the greatest number of laps in the race, which occurred. If a tie still exists after that, the greatest number of laps completed in second place, third place, will be used in the same manner until the tie is broken, all the way down to 40th, right? If the tie is still not resolved by the above, the vehicle scoring the highest position on any lap during the race will prevail, or in the case where the highest position scored between the tied vehicles is the same, the vehicle scoring the highest position at the earliest point in the race will prevail. So there you go. It gets complicated, but usually they get to step 1 and that's about it. But they have those other 2 points there for how they determine a tie in NASCAR.
Just award the fucking tie. Hashtag chaos.
Right. What do you do? Split points, I guess? I don't know.
Oh,
give them the same amount of points.
Give them the same amount of points, you go.
Split the winning purse. I guess that's how you do it, right? Split the... That'd be something. Chaos.
We all... Do you know how unbelievably rare it is to have the exact same... like where it's 0.0000 repeating, right?
It happens more in iRacing than it does in the real world. We'll just put it that way.
Rub that one in.
Wait, what? What happened? What?
One of my first.
You got
races,
summed out of a win on a tie?
I got suckered out of a win on a 0.000. Only because the dude led one more lap than me.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Well, I did have another conversation piece. We haven't really touched on it, so I'll go ahead and ask the question. Should NASCAR be starting on back-to-back super speedways or drafting tracks?
Who gives a shit?
Honestly,
great.
I liked it, so they could keep doing it as many times as they want. I don't care. I think it's great. The teams, they're talking about all the cars this, the cars that. Well, you don't go into motorsports to make money. We say it all the time. We're going to say it a lot during this podcast. You don't get into motor racing to make money. So if you run out of cars, NASCAR's going to need to look at getting more chassis suppliers. That's all I need to say about that. With all the stuff they got going on, but
Ooh, supply chain issues. We can't get any cars. Ooh. Guess what? Make that shit here in America, all right? Use our shit, and you'd have as many cars as you guys
America.
can pump out.
That's
God
right.
dang, I'm tired of hearing it. And not only that, but let me throw this in here.
Fair.
I'm tired of seeing the tie rods in these cars blowing out. And all right, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. All right, there
Just
are
happened to our
guys.
teammate tonight, by the way, in his race.
There's these great off-road chassis builders, all right, that make these parts that are absolutely fucking bulletproof, and yet NASCAR is still using a part that as soon as you go, all right, the fucking thing breaks. No, get over it, NASCAR. Fucking straighten that shit up and let these guys run. You don't have a product on track unless you got cars on track. And you go and wreck out most of the field, and most of those guys are sitting. Yeah, I know. Most of those guys are sitting out because they had a tie rod fucking break or any of those control arm components. Come on, man. They they've got that shit.
IndyCar has better parts. Just saying.
I can tank slap a fucking IndyCar against the wall and still finish 400 miles of an Indy 500. How do I know this? I've done it. Simulated, of course, but who gives a shit? It's pretty close. I know, it's still a game.
Fair.
But
So we've
yes,
got a lot of post Atlanta news. I don't even know if we're going to hit it all, but we've got it here.
I don't care. Go for it. We got time.
We're going to do a little rapid fire here. Spire Motorsports, they had an announcement early on this week that HendrickCars.com expanded their partnership sponsorship deal with Raja Karuth, driver of the 71 Chevrolet, from 10 races to the whole schedule. So kudos to them. Boris said we'll be driving for Hendrick again, this time at Sonoma here in the Xfinity Series this season. Last time they attempted to qualify, I believe, was the Charlotte Roval and missed out on time because the car broke.
Do I need to bring out the
So-
set head again?
You'll need to break out your set head again.
Yeah, 60-year-old. Let's go. I hope he whoops everybody's ass.
Honestly, he's still got quite a bit of talent. I know he hasn't raced a little bit, but
In his
he's still
left
got talent.
toe.
Let's see here. And Joey Logano fined $10,000 by NASCAR for his unapproved web gloves at
You
Atlanta.
fucked up with your bitch mittens, you jackass.
See, here's the deal. Brayton Laster. I'm going to shout Brayton out in this podcast.
Oh,
He stirred the shit pot this week. He stirred it because he posted on Twitter that Joey Logano wore those exact same gloves and qualifying for the Daytona 500 when he won the pole, and NASCAR didn't say anything. But you notice right after Daytona 500 qualifying, he was very quick to take the glove off after qualifying. If you go back and look at his onboard after he crossed the start-finish line, he already has the glove off.
So this is Brayton's fault.
Brayton brought it up after it happened. Like he brought it up Sunday after the announcement came out. And you know who brought it up on their podcast the very next day? Our friend, Dear Denny.
I was going to say Hamlin had to have brought it up.
Dear Danny brought it up. That's right. So just want to throw that out there. And Stuart Haas Racing, stop cheating. I just, you're not fast. And the way you break these rules, you're not getting any faster. Saying.
Just sell the team to Junior on a discounted.
For real.
Please.
L1 penalty for the confiscated roof rails this past season in Atlanta. This resulted in a 35 driver and owner points deduction. Both Noah Gragson and Ryan Preece. This puts Noah Gragson at -6 points for the season and Ryan Preece at 0. He might as well just not start at the Daytona 500 or Atlanta. these past 2 weekends. It
Eh,
just started.
hell,
You know,
they still get the prize money. Let them go.
they still get the prize money, but still,
What's funny is Dr. Throw Up here is still negative 6 points. How do you do that coming out of Atlanta? Come on, brother. Do better.
finish last in both races, I guess.
Hold on. We go start over here and that way. That way. Let's go.
But yeah,
I'd say
so
something else and I'm not going to.
probably a good idea. Speaking of Dale Jr., we talked about him earlier. We're going to bring him up again. According to The Athletic, broken today, he will not be in the booth for this year. But he did sign a deal with both Amazon and TNT to cover the races in 2025, that 10 race stretch there in the middle of the summer. So good signing for them. Bunch of crap for NBC for not bringing him back. Just saying. That's just my thoughts on that.
I don't think they had a choice when they started dangling Amazon money in front of freaking Junior. He's like, oh, money. I don't have
And
to
I
go
get
back to the
2/3 of the
mill.
season off.
I don't have to go back to the mill. Yay.
But I mean, I think it's a tough deal for everybody involved. And when Junior used his podcast for leverage, saying that he didn't have a deal, I mean, you'd be pretty dumb if, as Amazon or Warner Brothers Discovery, to not jump on that opportunity to get Dale Jr. as part of your broadcast. Saying.
Yeah, this is what hell. There are a bunch of people that thought that Dale Jr. was never going to race for Hendrick, and look at what happened.
That's
There's,
true.
Hell has frozen over a lot in motorsports. People, get over it. He's not going somewhere else. I am fine with it because I would like to see.
He's still on TV.
Is even if you want to see Dale Earnhardt Jr., go listen to his fucking podcast. Support
That's
this
true.
shit. All right.
That's true.
Again, we're blasting another fucking podcast on our very own, but I don't care because we do this as a hobby. They're trying to make money on it. Support your local podcasts, and every one of them is local because that's the way they are. But still, go see Dale Earnhardt Jr. and great for his prime deal. Good for you, Junior. You got to look at you and a family, and if this is what your decision is, then great, so be it. I would like to see what you would do with not being on a shitty broadcast. Oh, did I say the quiet part aloud again? Yeah, Fox, NBC, y'all suck.
Ooh. Yeah, they need to get better. That's for sure. Lots for improvement there. Well, we're still on the Junior train because we got another announcement today as well. Bubba Pollard, one of the better known super late model and late model stock drivers out there in the short track scene right now. He got an Xfinity deal with Dale Earnhardt Jr. today. He's going to be making his Richmond debut in the Xfinity Series. March 30th, he'll be driving for Junior Motorsports in the number 88 Ream Chevrolet. A pickup for them. Good to see him get a chance, similar to how Josh Berry got his shot at Junior Motorsports. So very cool to see.
If you guys don't pay attention to short track racing down here in the South, Bubba Pollard's actually badass. So the fact that it took this long to get him in,
right up there with Josh Berry, Carson Kvapil now with Junior, he's got a lot of talent.
The fact that it took this long to get to
sad.
that point is pretty fucking sad, but whatever, good for him.
It kind of just shows you where we're at in today's motorsports, how much money you need to do anything.
The green, the almighty green.
Yep. Green. Anyways.
Green. Oh, speaking of money.
Young Money himself. That's right.
Young Money himself.
Let's see. And another fact that hasn't happened at all in NASCAR history until this season. Chevy has won every race this season, counting Xfinity, Truck, Cup. Throughout the first 2 weeks of the season, swept all 6 races. So that was the first this week. Toyota and Ford, at least on the Cup side and the truck side, they seem to have dominated the races, been up front the most, but Chevy's been up front where it matters most. What's going to be interesting to see this week, Joe, the new nose for Toyota and Ford at a place like Las Vegas, and how they're going to react to being at an intermediate track. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform.
So shit. Yeah. I just have this sneaky suspicion that Chevrolet is going to try to do anything within their power to win a championship this year, only because of some of the shit that we've seen.
Cadillac.
Cattle smack.
And we'll switch to Cadillac if that happens, Joe.
Yes.
That's a
Anyways,
joke. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so
moving on.
moving on. Team president Steve Luletta of 2311 Racing recently announced that to the media that they will be running their third Cup car again this year, the number 67 in select races. And similar to what they did last season, details are coming soon on that. So that'll be interesting to see that team have a third car somewhere.
Hey, Mr. President of Mr. Jordan and Mr. Hamlin's shit show. I have a couple of drivers on HSR that would absolutely love a shot. Oh, and there's this fat fuck over in the Carolinas. His name's Landon Williams, who may or may not have just won a fucking Road to Pro race today. Yeah, he's actually pretty good too. So if you need names, we have M. Scott List Ramler. We have Dalton Fredericks, who, he's actually pretty skinny. He'd fit into his seat. All right. And then that just like that fat fuck Winnie the Pooh, Landon Williams. We got 3. All right. Give him a shot. All right. We all have learned that sim racers can actually do some shit in real life motorsports. So there's 3 name drops right there. All right. Then you guys better be listening and liking. All right. Because if you're not, fuck you.
If you don't chew Big Red.
Hold on, where is it? Here it is. Hold on.
Oh,
hold on.
Oh,
hold on.
Oh,
this one.
Oh, not that Big Red. Not that Big Red.
That's not red. That's FD.
Well, apparently, according to Eric Estep, I just listened to this earlier today. I had to write it down. Marshall Pruitt has a podcast, by the way, and he dropped a bomb that the Honda to NASCAR talks are not just rumors. I actually gained a little bit of ground, Joe.
Funny, somebody said that a couple weeks ago. I don't know who the fuck said that.
I think both of us said it. Just like Cadillac to NASCAR. I mean, we kind of called that one out too.
Hold on. See this? Suck my boogers. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't surprised when I heard it.
Yeah. So that was something interesting today. Well, that's going to basically wrap everything up here tonight, guys. Thanks again, Joe, for joining me for the second episode of Off in Turn 1. Still not canceled. We're still here. Next week, we have a special guest. I'm going to name drop him again. His name is Scott Ramler. He's going to be talking about everything
Formula
this next week. That's happening this weekend. So he will be joining us. We've also got a lot of things to discuss because next week we got actual Indy cars on track next weekend. So we're going to talk about everything that is St. Petersburg leading up to that race next time that we record. We've also got the WEC race. I know you hate it when I say that. The WEC race.
WEC, not WEC. Get it right. You son of a bitch.
We got that race coming up.
in Speedway, Illinois.
So we got that race coming up this weekend at Bahrain. It is Bahrain, right? I know the Formula One race is at Bahrain. Somewhere out in the Middle East.
Okay,
covered in glass.
So damn it. That's my joke. That's my joke. Get the squeegees out and get the oil up. You spilled it all over the place.
But
there, so all all the cool motorsports are overseas right now, or still sitting on the sidelines, while we sit here and watch NASCAR go round and around and around
And around.
and around. Oh, okay, I'm done.
Anyways, so we've got that going on this week, so that'll be a fun time to have Scott on the show. But do you have any final thoughts before we head out of here?
What?
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts before we sign off on this shindig?
Yeah, I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
All right, cool. So we are done here. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe to All Star 15 TV. Give this podcast a like, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, and give your own answer to the question of the week, which was: which driver in motorsports will have a comeback year here this year in 2024?
It doesn't
So
have
be
to
sure.
necessarily be NASCAR, and it doesn't necessarily have to be IndyCar. You can sit there and say,
Any form, Formula.
John Andretti's coming back from the dead. What?
Formula.
So we got that. So yeah, talk about that. It could be Formula. It could be the WEC. Whatever you want to talk about.
Lou ass Hamilton.
So we got that. But again, guys, thank you very much so much for watching. Be sure to, like I said, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell so every time that you know that AJ goes live, or when we drop an episode of the podcast. It's going to be very important for any future content of this channel. Thanks again, AJ, for letting us expand your channel and have a little bit of fun along the way. And we'll see you guys next time. Stay safe and stay classy.
No.
Okay. Don't play in traffic.
Got it.